Hello and welcome back to my Nightmare Rex series. We are going to go into the last scenario, Dim Carcosa, and I missed something. I was defeated in, what was it, Pellet Mask, because I decided I want to go for the below 6, I believe, doubt and conviction route. But I missed that someone has to read the Act 2, so someone has to take weakness, which I wouldn't have done. But as I never played the path so far, I'm just going to go ahead and do that anyways. So below 6 Shroud and Conviction it is. So let me just go into setup here. So first of all, my deck changes are One Glimpse of the Unthinkable, and obviously, while Crack the Case is probably at least as good, I wanted to do something funny with my last experience point. So I took Forstchen Bargain, just to change the chaos back at least a little bit. And let's go right ahead into the rest of the setup. So first of all, I did that. If you have 5 or less doubt and conviction, use Act 1. Okay, which one? Version 1. Okay. Five or less is version 1. Yes, it is. So, everything else should be set up. Now there goes the bad part. Let's see, where is it? I've done that. I opened the path above, so I'm going to go to Dark Spires. That is here. And I'm going to set aside the man. Should have been done before Mulligan, but it doesn't matter. Oh, after Mulligan. Set the following, yes. If there are 3 to 5 tally marks at 2 doom to agenda 1A. So we're doing that. Okay, so I'm going to take half of my sanity as direct horror, which I believe is sanity of 9. So half of that rounded down is 4. Lovely 7 horror right from the beginning. Okay, but other than that, I believe I'm ready to proceed to my mulligan. So let's go right ahead. Actually, 7 cards. Rex's Curse is gone. Okay, so obviously that's a good starting hand because we have Mr. Rook. Do I need Pathfinder in this scenario? Probably nice card to see. Forewarned. Might as well. For sure I'm going to mulligan Astounding. I'm going to mulligan at least 1 Knowledge is Power, probably both. And I don't really need the Art Student as well. So, 4 cards. This is gone. This is gone as well. And unfortunately, as several times already, the last card is the Astounding Revelation. But we have a Forstchen Bargain, which is funny. Okay, first action, let's go right ahead. Mr. Rook Let's see what he brings. Top 9 cards. And I believe, first of all, Astounding Revelation. And I'm thinking Cryptic Research. Do I need anything else? I might as well go for the segment. I don't really have card draw this turn other than Mr. Rook, so let's see what I might do. I might play a Pathfinder, but I don't want to not be able to play fast cards, so I believe it's just going to be Cryptic Research and Lost Soul. This is 2 resources. I'm going to make this test. I'm going to fail. So 1 damage here, 1 damage here, and that's it. Then I'm going to draw some cards with Cryptic Research. Let's see, I draw Cryptic Writings. So 1, 2, 3 resources. Then I'm going to use my second action to play Laboratory Assistant and draw 2, gain 2. Why do I always think that? Probably Take Heart conditioned me. And my last action is going to be Lone Wolf, and that's it. Upkeep, draw a card, gain a resource. Doom number 3. And encounter cards. Okay, I would need to discard cards with total printed resource cost of 7. Let's see. One, 2, 3 for Pathfinder. 4, 5. 6, 7. Okay. Lone Wolf resource happens and Mr. Rook happens. Now I might go for the segment. Yeah, why not? Okay. That is still no action. Now let's see what we want to do. Might go for calling in favors. Yes, indeed, why not? I'm going to play Calling in Favors to get Mr. Rook back to my hand and search the top 9. There's an Astounding Revelation. I have only the resource option, Art Student or Laboratory Assistant. I think I like myself a good art student here. So, 1 clue. We only need 1. So, New Mr. Rook is my second action. And again, 9 cards. So that's going to be Dark Pact. And that's going to be a segment. Then I'm going to use the segments to play a pendant. And I'm going to play Fortune Bargain, I believe. Yeah. I'm going to play that. Add 2 curse tokens to the Chaos bag. 1 and 2. Get 5 resources. And I'm going to use the pendant for the last clue, which I'm immediately going to have to spend. And advance. Spawn the side, set aside Man in the Pellet Mask. At the palace. Okay. Ah, what a shame. You cannot discover clues. And I need to be there and spend 3 actions. Okay. So far so good. Let's see what happens next. Draw a card, gain a resource. Doom number 4. And Rotting Remains is an encounter card. So pretty much going to use Mr. Rook. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Rex's Curse comes up. And Occult Lexicon. So this is useless, I believe. Occult Lexicon it is. Then I'm going to take the test. And I'm going to fail. 2 horror here, 1 here. That was that. Lone Wolf resource happens. First action. Actually, do I want to play that or not? No, I'm going to use the pendant to move right here, as that is revealed, and spend 3 actions on the act. Remove the man from the game, okay. And set aside enemy spawns. So which one spawns? The Tattered King spawns. Oh my god. Okay. I really should have done it differently. And I get -2 sanity. So that is going to be very costly. What does he say? Okay, he just says 4 horror. Okay, other than that, I believe we're fine. Enemy phase. 1, 2, 3, 4 horror. And upkeep. Draw a card, gain a resource. Doom number 5. Encounter cards. Fanatic, which is obviously going to spawn at our location. And take one of those clues away. Okay, Lone Wolf happens, and let's have a little bit of Mr. Rook magic. So Decoy obviously is the 10th card, which would have helped, but our narcotic manuscripts help as well. So there's going to be that. Now, first of all, our good old pendant is going to say, "Begone, very horror heavy enemy." And now let's see, now we have options. I believe I just want to kill this enemy. So I'm going to take an attack of opportunity and play the Occult Lexicon. Second action is play Blood Right. Draw 2. Discard Astounding and Rook. Pay 2 resources and defeat this enemy. Okay, clue number 1. Now we have at least Forewarned as our option, so that's helpful. So I don't really want to deal with this enemy, so my last action is just going to be go somewhere that's not here. Dim Streets. Enemy phase, nothing happens. Upkeep. Draw a card, gain a resource. And I need to discard a card, which is going to be Search for the Truth. Doom number 6 and encounter cards. Bleak Plains. He's going to spawn here. And he's going to hunt us. Okay, so we have 2 hunters in not the best spots. So we're probably going to go here. Those 2 hunt here. And that's going to be fine. Let's see. First of all, Lone Wolf happens. Do I have an art student left somewhere? No, I don't. So laboratory assistant, I believe it is. I have 1 in my discard pile, yes. So my first action is going to be use Calling in Favors and get this Mr. Rook back to my hand. And play this laboratory assistant. Draw 2 cards. So far so good. Now let's see. Unfortunately, I'm missing Pathfinder, which would really help here. I can't even crack the case, that location. I could lose 1 action, but I don't want to. And I'm not able to move. So my second action is going to be move. And my last action is going to be hey, Mr. Rook. And use him immediately for I can't play fast events or fast cards. I cannot play fast cards. Okay, so that's going to be my second action because I want to play whatever I play. regardless if I take Cryptic Research or Segments, I want to play that. Okay. I'm going to take Cryptic Research. Play that immediately, draw 3 cards. Play 1 segment down. I'm going to indeed move here. Enemy phase. He moves. Upkeep, draw a card, gain a resource. Okay, I'm going to get rid of one of those. I'm going to get rid of this. 10 cards and we're good. Doom number 7. The investigators must decide. Okay, so I can't pass the tests anyway. Because I can't play those and I can't pass the test. So I'm going to take the first test. Willpower? No. The second test? No. And I'm going to place 1 Doom on this agenda. I'm going to faint and awake sometime later. Now this big enemy has +1 fight and the same text as before. Cannot be defeated still. Okay. Encounter cards. Okay, lovely. We get an enemy. That's something we unfortunately have to deal with. So let's have a look. Which way? Lone Wolf happens. Blood Rite happens. Draw 2. Discard Decoy, discard Art Student for 1, 2, wrong direction, 2 and 2 damage. Blood Rite happens. Second action, draw 1, draw 2, discard Art Student and glimpse. Pay another 2 resources. And this enemy is defeated. So far so good. Blood Rite is in the discard pile. Pay 2 for 2 segments. Actually, before I do that, I believe I want to use Mr. Rook. Okay, there's a Astounding Revelation for 2 resources and Pathfinder. So my last action is for sure going to be play Pathfinder. And I'm going to use those 2 resources for another pendant. Now question is what to do with that. I'm going to Pathfinder down here. Oh, actually, yeah, I didn't play any fast cards. I'm going to play the 2 segments right after I move, because still I can't play fast cards over there. Enemy phase happens. He will hunt. He will hunt downwards this time. And upkeep happens. Draw a card. Gain a resource. Doom number 2. And counter cards. I'm frozen in fear. Let's see if that's something I care about. It's move, action, fight, or evade. So, no, it's nothing I care about. Let's go Lone Wolf resource and let's go Mr. Rook. Did I forget to use the pendant last turn? Yes, I did. Okay, it doesn't really matter. And we're going for... What do I care about? Calling in favors. My first action is going to be call some favors. Mr. Rook. Astounding Revelation for 2 resources. And a laboratory assistant. Draw 2. Okay. That is useful. Now, I'm going to play Knowledge is Power. I'm going to investigate. While I'm investigating, I'm going to use Pathfinder to move up here. And then I'm up by 2, and I'm going to discover those 2 clues. And I'm going to flip this location, right? Deal 1 damage. I believe I forgot the horror somewhere. Now that I think about it, this has probably 1 horror from drawing through my deck. Okay, let's see. Flip this card back over. It cannot be flipped again. So let's indicate that using a resource token. Now I still have 1 action left. I'm going to use Mr. Rook. Or play him first and then use him for the next astounding. And Forstchenwagen. And this time I'm not going to forget that he moved, because a location was flipped over. And I'm not going to forget to use the pendant this time to discover this clue. Okay, so far so good. Upkeep, draw a card, gain a resource. Still no problem, I have 2 laboratory assistants. Doom number 3 and counter cards. Okay, so that's just a non-issue because I don't have 14 horror yet. But I forgot to take the Frozen in Fear test. So that's going to be on Frozen in Fear, I believe. Yeah, not a problem. Now, do we want to flip some things? Let's start with Mr. Rook. Lost Soul. Let's go with Cryptic Writings. Yeah, why not? Now that I have this many cards in my hand, it's 4 resources. Lost Soul. I'm going to commit Possession Traitorous. This automatically fails, so I'm not going to reveal tokens. 1 damage goes on Laboratory Assistant, and 1 damage goes on to Mr. Rook. Okay, so far so good. Should have just used the pendant. So I just lost 1 pendant last while, forgot it. Now let's see where I'm going to flip locations, because I'm thinking about this. Shores of Harley. Or go into the palace, but I like going into the shores now. Or go into Bleak Plains. Let's see, Cryptic Research, draw 3 cards. Okay, working a hunch, that's what we wanted to see. Pendant is going to teleport me to... Okay, that doesn't really work out. I was thinking go here and then here, but I can't flip this because this enemy is just going to hunt and I don't really want that. So let's go for a little bit different approach. First thing before using the pendant is Pathfinder, move here and flip this. Test 3. For each point you fail by, take 1 horror. Okay. So that's 1 damage for sure. I believe he's not exhausted anymore. Let's see, 3 horror. Is that fine? To be honest, probably is. Yeah, I would just need to discard some cards from hand, which would be a shame, but not a big problem. Nah, I'm going to knowledge's power this, and I don't reveal tokens, so I pass that test. He hunts here. Actually, he hunts over there. Now I'm going to use the pendant to move to the path. What do I want to just say here? Yeah, to evade this enemy. Now I'm going to use it to move to the palace. Then I'm going to play an art student and discover this clue. Now I want to flip this location. I now know the secret. Oh no, I can't. It cannot be flipped over until it has. Yeah, that doesn't work. Because I need to damage him first. Okay, so unless I'm going to rewind that. I'm going to let him hunt here. No, even hunt down there. Then I'm going to use my pendant. Instead of going to the palace, I'm going to go here. And I'm going to flip that. Okay, so that's something I can flip. And I'm going to realize what I must do. I'm going to step forward and I'm going to push the woman on the balcony, deal 2 damage to the big enemy. So he's at 4 now. So far so good. Still have one action remaining. I'm just going to play the manuscripts. And I'm going to take that test. And I'm failing. Upkeep, draw a card, gain a resource. Doom number 4. Oh. He hunts. Actually, he hunts here. And he hunted as well, effectively hunted because I flipped this location. But now, encounter cards. So that would mean I cannot play events. I believe that's just quicker to use Forewarned on. Yeah, why not? I'm going to use Forewarned to effectively gain 2 actions. Lone Wolf happens, and now let's do some shenanigans. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to use the pendant to teleport to this location here. I'm engaged with this enemy. While I'm here, I'm going to that doesn't really work out, right? I don't have the resources. Okay, so my first action is Forstchen Bargain. And then I'm going to teleport there. Because then I do have the resources. Now I'm going to play Working a Hunt for 2. Discover this clue, take 1 damage, and I'm going to take that damage on Art Student. So far so good. Let's see what happens when I flip this. I may either heal 5 horror or exhaust an enemy. Yeah, I'm going to heal 5 horror. I don't care, that's fine. Remove this card from the game. Okay, so we get a different ruin. This is our new ruins of Carcosa. And this enemy is going to hunt us. So far so good. Still actions remaining. Cryptic Research, draw 3 cards. Okay, not the best, but fine. How many damage? And okay, so if I deal 5th damage, I'm just going to advance the agenda, but that's fine. Which is why I'm going to play Blood Ride as my second action. Draw 2 cards. Discard. Crack the case for 1 resource and decoy for another to deal him 2 damage. Actually, I forgot to take 1 damage from him earlier because he attacked me once. Okay, now 1 damage. He has 6 damage now, so we advance here. Beast of Aldebaran. This is going to spawn at this location. And encounter discard pile is shuffled back in there. So he cannot be defeated unless you know the secret. So I just need to go and know the secret. Like, no big deal, right? I'm going to use Mr. Rook and draw one of the segments. My last action is going to be play Blood Right, draw one card, draw another card, take a horror, and discard 2 cards, Mr. Rook and Laboratory Assistant. Take 2 resources and deal him his 7th and 8th damage. Actually, no, that's too much. Yeah, I'm going to just deal him 7 and don't discard the Laboratory Assistant, because I want those 3 resources to be used for my pendant. And obviously the pendant is going to evade this enemy, and the Pathfinder is going to say go somewhere else. I believe is going to be this location. Okay, Frozen in Fear test. Nope. And upkeep. Draw a card and gain a resource. Doom number 1 and counter cards. Okay, so spending 5 resources to get rid of that. Oh, I think, yeah, I didn't play the ending yet that I believe you need 1 possession in your hand. Yeah, I'm going to keep that, just to try and go for that ending. Okay, so far so good. Let's see some things. Pendant, discover this clue. And flip this location. Each investigator heals 3 horror. Deal 4 damage to an enemy in play. Might as well, right? Remove this card from the game and replace it with a different copy. Okay, so this thing is removed. And there is only 1 other copy. Okay. This thing is going to hunt. Lone Wolf. Okay, I'm going to use Pathfinder and move right here. And I'm going to play Calling in Favors to get my Mr. Rook back to my hand. Let's see what that brings us. No allies, unfortunately, just 2 resources. Which is fine enough. I'm just going to replay Mr. Rook. And search top 9. So, another 2 resources. Some damage, possibly. And let's see. Glimpse. I mean, not that I need it, but it's pretty funny. Or just cryptic research. Knowledge is power and pass that test. Yeah, that's funny. Knowledge is power, pass that test. Actually, no, I need to commit 1 card to that. So no, I can't do that. I'm just going to take cryptic research then. and play it during the test. And let's see, I have one action left. I'm just going to take the test. 1 damage here, 1 damage here. My last action is play Laboratory Assistant and gain 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 resources. So he's going to hunt us. Let's say he's going to hunt here. Nothing else. No. Oh, Frozen in Fear. Nothing. Upkeep. Draw a card, gain a resource. Now I need to discard 1, I believe. 11 cards. I'm going to discard... Crack the case in that case. Doom and encounter cards. Rotting Remains, some horror. Might as well just play Forewarned, now that I have 2. And this is done. Now, let's have a look. I want to use my pendant. Actually, do I want to use my pendant now? What would I even do with the pendant? I'm going to use Pathfinder then, to move here to the beast. First action is going to be use Mr. Rook. Okay, that wasn't what I wanted to delete. Use Mr. Rook to get that astounding. 2 resources and to get like any card. Let's say I'm fine with losing. Yeah, I don't know. Let's take Decoy. So far so good. That was our Mr. Rook. Then I'm going to play for my first action a Blood Right. Pay 2 resources. Discard Decoy for 1 and... Glimpse for the other. 6 damage. Play another Blood Right. Draw 2. Discard... Forstchen Wagen. Pay 1 to kill this beast. Now let's see, I want to use the pendant for something. Let's... Do I care? Pendant for a clue. Let's say this one. Now, those are back in the deck, and I'm going to draw 3. Play 2 segments, and my last action is going to be play an art student. And do this. Okay. I'm not going to flip the location yet, but I'm going to take Frozen in Fear test. Frozen Fear test. Doesn't work. And that's it. Draw a card, gain a resource. Doom number 3 and encounter cards. Dissonant Voices. Okay, regardless, I don't want that. Like, Dissonant Voices is way too annoying. I don't care if it hits me hard or not, I just don't want that to annoy my plans. Okay, let's see. I believe I'm going to go for a small search. And I hear that search saying Hester. Then I'm going to draw 5 with my first action. So draw 2 and draw another 3. Take 1 horror. Then I'm going to use Mr. Rook for I have blood right somewhere. I have 1 blood right. Do I need glimpse? Do I need more cards or better cards, I believe? And now play a segment, get a pendant. Actually not yet. I'm going to... yeah, I have 1 clue there. Okay, my second action is going to be use a resource to play Calling in Favors. So I have Astounding for 2 resources, and I have an art student here. Now I regain this clue, and now I can flip. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to flip this location. That means I know the secret. He is going to hunt, and I'm going to immediately evade him. So, this, he's evaded. I could go for the kill, but I don't think this turn. Do I need to do anything else? I believe it's just killing him, right? So I'm going to do that, I believe. I'm going to play Knowledge is Power. I'm going to play Cryptic Research, draw 3. I'm going to play Forstchen Bargain. Enemy phase, he hunts, upkeep, he readies. Draw a card, gain a resource, and discard a bunch of cards. So 1 rook, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 working a hunch, and 1 crack the case. Could have cracked the case even. Doom number 4, encounter cards. Discard cards from... Yeah, I need to discard 3 cost of cards. So that's going to be 1 Calling in Favor and 1 Art Student. Then I'm going to take that. I'm going to evade my enemy. I'm going to Pathfinder right to this location. And... oh, I played Knowledge is Power last turn for that Frozen in Fear test, so I just passed that. And I believe let's flip this location. I heal 3 horror, okay. And it's removed from the game, so we go to the last ruin. Okay, now I'm tempted to take a look at that ruin. Okay, so while I'm attacking him, those tokens are auto-fail with no remaining sanity. I don't care. He gets +2 fight. That's unfortunately a little bit unsatisfying because I can't just attack him easily. I could go to 3, but I would need to have 2 more icons to actually just attack him with my combat stat. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to and no need to drag it out. Play Bloodright, draw 2, discard Laboratory Assistant, and I don't know, Forewarned to overkill him, but I believe I don't have an action window anyway, or I can't go and discard Bloodthirst anyways, because we are just going to advance. A chorus of cries echoes throughout your mind. Chaotic organ chords torture your ears. You fall to your knees and blood drips from your eyes. The realm of Carcosa shatters into millions of pieces and fades into the empty void of space. Okay, so we killed the Tattered King. Resolution 1. I'm usually not too much into the theme True Solo, but I'm just doing this path the first time, so I might as well read a bit. Hopefully it's not too boring. You stand atop the balcony of the Abbey Tower in Mont Saint-Michel, wet wind coursing through your hair. The pallid mask lies in your hands, devoid of warmth. You can scarcely bring yourself to look at it. You remember everything now. How it all began, how it ended, and everything in between. There's only one thing left to do. You hurl the mask into the air with all of your strength and watch as it flies into the tempest-tossed waves below. Okay, so we prevented Hastur from escaping his prison. In your campaign log, record the names of each investigator who ended the game with at least 1 copy of Possession Treachery in his or her hand. Yes! I get to read flavor text. So I win the campaign. Isn't there anything? Anything? Yes, here it is. Okay, I haven't read that ever, so I ended it with Possession. I'm going to... oh, sorry, do not read it out loud unless all investigate. Actually, all investigators are possessed. I may as well read it out loud this time. It has taken months of preparation, but you are finally ready to unveil your latest work to the world. Gathering financial investments was your first task, of course. That hadn't taken too long given the connections you've made during your stay in Paris. You have been assured that the cast assembled is the finest that money could afford. But still you strive to make everything perfect. It must be perfect. The story must be told so that the world knows. You've heard the troop whisper behind your back, the remarks about your bizarre passion, the concern about your piercing yellow eyes. It matters not to you. All you care about is the performance. The pronunciation of the words, the melody of Cassilda's song, the design of the stranger's mask. This would be the greatest performance of the King in Yellow ever. Okay, we actually ended our campaign with not only auto-fail tokens, which is pretty much the only reason I took Forced Bargain, but actually it's a fun card. So, a little bit of diversity here, and I'm not going to write down the rest here, like 2 victory points. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and look at it. What would we do? 2 physical, 2 mental trauma, 5 bonus experience. Okay, I'm going to write that down. So we're actually surviving 2 and 5 with 5 experience points because we couldn't get rid of Bloodthirst. Could have discarded that as well. And thank you for watching. It's been a fun campaign. Interesting to play with only chaos fails or chaos tokens that are the tentacle. And I hope it was somewhat entertaining. Have a nice day.